Chief Obinna Okafor, a celebrated billionaire and philanthropist, is known throughout Africa for his incredible wealth, charity, and business acumen. He owns multiple companies and is adored by the masses, but behind his empire lies a dark, well-guarded secret, one that, if exposed, could destroy everything he has built. This story follows the journey of a young investigative journalist, Adaora, who begins to unravel Chief Obinna's carefully concealed truth. As she digs deeper, Adaora discovers a web of lies, hidden crimes, and a shocking truth about Obinna's rise to power. Chief Obinna's life seemed perfect from the outside. He lives in a mansion, owns a fleet of luxury cars, and is regularly seen donating large sums of money to hospitals, schools, and charities. He is praised by political leaders, revered by the public, and considered a role model. Everyone wants to be associated with him, and his public appearances draws crowd. Chief Obinna is being honored for his contribution to society. Adaora, a young ambitious journalist working for a popular news outlet, attends the event with her boss. She is starstruck by Obinna's larger-than-life persona and the praise he receives from the dignitaries and the media. However, during the event, she noticed something strange. Obinna has a tense moment with a mysterious guest, someone Adaora has never seen before. The two exchanged heated whispers before parting ways abruptly. This piques Adaora's curiosity, and she begins to wonder if there is more to the billionaire's story than meets the eye. Adaora's interest in Chief Obinna turns into a full-blown obsession. She starts to dig into his past, looking for anything unusual. She reads up on his rise to wealth, how he went from being a modest businessman in the early days to one of the most powerful figures in Africa within just a decade. But something doesn't add up. There are gaps in his history that raises questions. Her investigation leads her to a former associate of Chief Obinna, Alhaji Jide, who was once a close business partner but mysteriously vanished from the public eye. Adaora tracks him down to a run-down estate where he has been living in obscurity. Initially reluctant to speak, Alhaji Jide eventually opens up after Adaora's persistence. He reveals a shocking piece of information. Obinna's wealth was not solely built on hard work and good business deals. There was also a darker source. Alhaji Jide tells her about a time when Obinna made a deal with powerful crime syndicate involved in human trafficking and illicit diamond smuggling. The syndicate helped him rise to prominence, and in exchange, Obinna turned a blind eye to their illegal activities. The more money Obinna made, the deeper he got into their world, using his connection to cover up their crimes. Alhaji Jide reveals that he distanced himself from Obinna when things became too dangerous. Adaora is horrified, but her investigation is only just beginning. As Adaora digs deeper, strange things begin to happen. Her phone calls are intercepted, her emails are hacked, and anonymous threats are sent to her home. Someone clearly doesn't want her to uncover the truth. Adaora seeks out other individuals linked to Obinna's rise. She discovered that many of Obinna's former allies and business partners either met mysterious fate or disappeared altogether. She also learns that some of Obinna's charitable organizations are fronts for money laundering operations that help wash dirty money from the crime syndicate. Adaora's investigation begins to take a toll on her. She becomes paranoid, constantly looking over her shoulder. The more she uncovers, the more dangerous her situation becomes. But she is determined to expose the truth. During a secret meeting with one of Obinna's former bodyguard, Emeka, she is handed evidence, documents, and photos linking Obinna directly to the syndicate. But before Emeka can reveal more, he is murdered in broad daylight in what appears to be a random robbery gone wrong. Adaora narrowly escapes the same fate, but she now has the smoking gun she needs to blow the story wide open. Armed with evidence, Adaora decides to confront Chief Obinna directly. She manages to secure a one-on-one interview with him under the guise of writing a profile on his philanthropic work. The tension builds as Adaora sits across from the man she now knows is far from the public saint he pretends to be. During the interview, Adaora subtly questions Obinna about his business history and the unexplained wealth gap. Obinna maintains his charming facade, but his mood shifts when Amara mentions Emeka's name. She pushes further, mentioning the crime syndicate and the illicit diamond trade. Obinna becomes visibly uncomfortable, but tries to laugh it off. Then, in a bold move, Amara slides a folder containing the damning evidence across the table. Obinna's face changes, his mask slips. He realizes that Amara knows everything. What follows is a tense exchange in which Obinna tries to buy Amara off, offering her money, power, even connection in the industry. When she refuses, he warns her that publishing the story will not only ruin her career, but endanger her life. He tells her that no one will believe her because his image is untouchable. Amara stands firm, refusing to be intimidated. "You are playing with fire, Amara. You think you can take me down? My name is untouchable. If you publish this, you will regret it. I will make sure of it." But Amara refused to back down. She stared him down, unflinching. In Amara's voice, steady and determined, "The world deserves to know the truth." What follows is a tense exchange. Chief Obinna, realizing that Amara is not backing down, shifts tactics. He attempts to emotionally manipulate her, speaking about the pressure of building a legacy, the sacrifice he has made, and how many people depend on him for their livelihoods. He paints himself as a man who had no choice but to make certain compromise to protect the greater good. He tells her that exposing him will bring down not just him but thousands of innocent people who work for his companies, and many charitable initiatives will collapse. Amara listens, but her resolve is unshaken. She knows the harm that Obinna has caused outweighs the good he's trying to portray. The tension between them grows as Obinna makes one final chilling statement. "If you go through with this, Amara, it will be your last story." With her evidence in hand and her life in danger, Amara faces the biggest decision of her career. She has the power to expose one of the most powerful men in the country, but the cost is high. Obinna's influence stretches far, and the threats on her life are real. Amara seeks advice from her mentor, Kola, an experienced journalist who warns her that this story could destroy her if she isn't careful. Kola reminds her of the importance of truth, but also the risks involved when dealing with men like Obinna. He suggests taking the story to an international media outlet for more protection, as local outlets might be too easily swayed by Obinna's power. Determined to do what's right, Amara prepares the story and secretly sends copies of her evidence to multiple media outlets, both local and international. She also prepares a video detailing the entire investigation to be released online in case something happens to her. The story is published, and it immediately sends shockwaves through the nation. News outlets everywhere are flooded with details of Obinna's secret dealings, his ties to crime syndicates, and the dark side of his wealth. The public who once adored him are in disbelief. Protests erupt, and authorities are forced to open an investigation. Obinna's empire begins to crumble. His businesses suffer massive losses. Many of his allies publicly distance themselves from him, and the media bombards him with questions. Obinna denies the allegation at first, but the overwhelming evidence leaves little room for doubt. Some of his closest confidants are arrested, and the authorities close in on him. However, as the pressure mounts, Obinna makes a boldly move. He escapes the country, fleeing to an undisclosed location, leaving behind chaos in his wake. His empire falls, but the man himself disappears into the shadows. Though Amara has succeeded in exposing the truth, she remains a target. For weeks after the story breaks, she receives threatening messages, and there are several attempts to intimidate her into silence. Her life has been turned upside down, but she knows that she did the right thing. Amara is forced into hiding, living in fear of retribution from Obinna's remaining loyalists or the crime syndicates he worked with. But her brave sparks a movement. Other journalists begin investigating similar cases of corruption in the country. Amara becomes a symbol of truth and justice, but her life will never be the same. She remains in hiding, constantly looking over her shoulder, but her spirit remains unbroken. Amara, now in a small remote town, living quietly, but with her laptop open, she's working on her next story, showing that despite the dangers, she will continue to seek the truth no matter the cost. Guys, watch out for part 2. Thanks. Bye.